Hi, welcome to Little Bighorn Treasure Hunting Sources 32. I'm going to step back in time a little bit here from the Little Bighorn and kind of give you a history of the early guns that the Native Americans started with here in the United States that came from abroad, and then of course were manufactured here later in the United States itself. First we're going to start with what they call a flintlock, where a piece of flint goes in between here and it strikes a frizz. You have to put powder right here in what they call a pan. And that's, of course, is after you've put your bullet, your powder, your bullet, and your wad down the barrel. And on this one, they call this a Chief's model. You can see it was hard used. This is so cool. It's wrapped and repaired with sinew, as well as at the very end of the muzzle is also wrapped with sinew. And the reason they call this the Chief's model is it was ornate. And see, chiefs always, before any trading was done, you had to please the chiefs. So you can see there's even some gold in it. They were imported from Europe. And then also, most importantly, they had the chief's emblem on them. Not all of them did, but you really want to see that chief's emblem. Next, we have another early flintlock, and it's unmarked, so don't know the maker, but it has a pattern of a band mark on it, and this is all done in pieces of bone. Goes down along here. It has the benevolent moon symbol here, as well as bone along here. Just a very cool Native American piece. And then next we have another trade flintlock, and these were called trade guns. And this one here is not as old as these. The early ones, they have a more pronounced drop in the back of the butt. This one's a little flatter. But if you look at the length of it, they used to say they would take these trade guns and they'd put the butt to the ground and make the Indians pile up hides or pelts to the top of them before they would trade them the guns. Now, they went from flintlock to percussion, where they would put a percussion cap and load them the same down the barrel, but instead of having the flint and the pan with powder in it, which wasn't very waterproof, they went to conversions. Now this one, you can see where the frizzen was here. They drilled a hole, they put a drum to put the percussion cap right here, and they modified the hammer. See where it used to have the flint going in there, modified the hammer to hit right there on that. Now that could have been done by a gunsmith. The Native Americans had Daybreak and also Good Hand as gunsmiths. Good Hand was traded by a German immigrant that worked for the government. And, you know, it could be prayer buttons, the tacks that are in it. This came out of the Glenn Maddox collection. I bought it from Poulin's auction online. And then here's one that is a military conversion, but you can see the eagle. It's well worn. I can't get the dates off it. I have to do more research. It's fairly new, but can you see the togia markings here? I have yet to get a letter on it. Here again, there's something. This is saying something, and I hate to speculate until I get it from Wendell. But these were typically in the .58 caliber, and I believe this one may have been shortened, looking how it fits at the front, but I'm not positive. Now next, here we have another trade gun, and this was longer at one time. Here again, you can see the conversion from flintlock to percussion, and it has a couple tacks in it. It's got a brass repair. I don't know if this was done by Good Hand or Daybreak, but they did work on these, and it's just been cut short because once they got them, you know, they didn't really need to have them that long, especially on horseback. Next, we go to this little rifle here, and here's a benevolent moon. And this one I have history on. It belonged to Flat Hip, And his name's here in Togia, and there you can see it, and it's just a short boy's rifle like, and it's got double set triggers. So as we move on down, one of the very prolific Indian trade guns we find here in the United States is Leman's, L-E-M-A-N, from Pennsylvania, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And on this particular one, it has a drop. And what a drop is they would put their war honors in it. This one has some bead, and I don't know if there were other items on here at sometimes the families took them off. But this is a Leman. They were typically a big bore. It has a repair on the wrist, which is typical and way cool. And there again, it's a long rifle. And next we have another Leman. Now this one has been well cared for, and it's got a pretty stock, has a nice pineapple-ish type patch box, which is not uncommon. And the next piece we have, and this is just a Frontier muzzleloader, but this happened to be made in Minnesota, which is right next to actually the Hunk Papas and many Conjus. They all migrated out of that country. It used to be full of buffalo too, and as the white man gave new weapons to the Indians that they encountered, well, they pushed their longtime foes out because they had better weaponry. So they would take these guns, and this particular gun is also in good condition, but it's unique to be from Minnesota. And then last but not least is just another percussion rifle that's got a pretty stock, but it's unusually long, and it's very big bore. You know, it's 54 caliber at least on the bore. So I don't know if they had a longer barrel for packing in more powder. But anyway, there is the transition, and at some point I'll get to the trapdoor different models. But I thank you for listening once again, and God bless you.